Welcome to The Exchange. I'm Faisal Karmali, and we're chatting with Maeghen Cotterill, kickboxing world champion, gold medalist, and owner and head instructor at 5 Elements Martial Arts, the largest art school in Canada. Now find out how her martial arts training and personal philosophy has driven her to business success. Now before we get started, subscribe to the channel for all the latest updates and more advice for business owners. Coming up on this episode.
We didn't want to be a school that do knuckle push-ups on concrete. We're not Cobra Kai. I don't think anyone is going to take me seriously unless I win 10 world titles. So I won 11.
I'm going to die.
It's going to suck so hard into your bones, super suckage.
No entrepreneur does it by themselves. Okay, Maeghen, so I've got my phone clock right here, ready to go. 30 seconds. Tell me about you and your business and why you do it. Ready? Go.
I'm Maeghen Cotterill. I am the owner and head instructor of 5 Elements Martial Arts in Calgary, Alberta. I'm an 11-time world champion. I hold 4 black belts and a red sash. I'm a master instructor with a 5th degree, so I'm a Renchi. I'm lucky enough to have a studio that is multidisciplinary. So we teach everything from karate, Muay Thai, kickboxing, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, self-defense, Taekwondo, as well as special needs athletes and a lot of corporate health and wellness.
In less than 30 seconds. What Maeghen just did there was able to have you go, whoa, wait a minute. What did you get? How did you do it? How did you get to this point? You got a studio? Let's talk. And that engages a conversation to either do business with her as a customer or as a supplier, whatever it may be. Maeghen, great job. I love it.
Thanks.
So let's get right into this conversation. Whenever I hear about jiu-jitsu or martial arts or karate, I have this mental view of some of the movies I've seen growing up. Unfortunately, the mental position that I have does not have a female in the front. How did you get into a business like this?
So, I was 8 years old when I started doing martial arts. So I was a competitive swimmer. I was doing very, very well at competitive and synchronized swimming, but I also was this big in grade 6. So I'm 5'11", and 5'11" in shoes, 5'10" without shoes.
Okay.
And I haven't grown since grade 6. So I look like a giant beast in front of everyone that I stood beside in my class. I was very unorthodox. I looked like a baby deer learning how to walk most of the time because I grew way too fast. So I was very uncoordinated. And every morning that I walked to my bus stop at 8 years old, I was getting punched in the face by a bully. So what started my martial arts journey was I found a martial arts school that I could walk to, and I started my journey with Goju-Ryu Karate. I was the only girl, and Goju-Ryu is like the Karate Kid. So it's the wax on, wax off, it's the hard and soft, it's all of the things, like even Crane is a version of a cat's dance. Only in Crane and our dojo, we keep our hands in front of our face.
There we go.
So I was the only girl for a very, very long time. I was able to go from Goju-Ryu to Northern Kung Fu and then into Shotokan Karate. It took me 8 years to get my black belt, finally. I was training anywhere from 8 to 20 hours a week, and I was assistant teaching since the time, I think I was in probably grade 7 or grade 8. And I was given the opportunity to have my first satellite school at 16 years old.
Wow.
And I just remember thinking, like, this is what I want to do when I grow up. Like, how do I put this together? I want to teach. I want to work with kids. I want to work with special needs. I want to do martial arts. I want to help people. I want to build their confidence. I want to help them to feel strong and capable and elevated and powerful, but within their own selves. And when people feel that way, they don't want to hurt anybody else. And they walk around much kinder, with a lot more compassion, a lot more understanding, and they become helpers and leaders in their community as well.
Yeah.
So finally at 16 years old, I'm like, yeah, I could be a teacher. I could run a school. And I really thought, I'm like, if I build it, hopefully they will come.
Yeah.
I just thought, like, let's give this a go because this is what my soul and my heart want to do. And I got that school, I started teaching, and then I just continued my education into higher degrees, further black belts, more learning, more competition, more international ways of educating myself and getting coaching experience, and it grew from there.
Okay, so what am I doing?
Give me a front kick. Boof, like you're kicking open a door. Nice, that's really good. Awesome, awesome. Wicked. Best way to absorb is corner to corner.
Holy shit, are you ready? again. My socky came off. My socky came off. I'm gonna cry now. Oh, that was good.
You ready?
Yep. I'm going to die. Ow. Call 911 now. This or that, okay? And just the first answer that comes to your mind, pop it up.
Awesome.
Okay? Mobile or desktop?
Mobile.
More clients or higher revenue per client?
Higher revenue per client.
More vacation time but longer work days, or shorter work days and less vacation time?
Longer work days, vacation, for sure.
You want a whole career in the same business or several different businesses?
Several different businesses.
Hey-oh, nice. Okay. More clients in the same city or clients at other cities?
Clients all over the world.
Hey-oh. Social media or traditional advertising?
Social media.
Less sleep and more business or less business and more sleep?
Less sleep, more business.
Really?
Yep.
You don't value sleep?
I love sleeping.
Okay.
But I'm all or nothing.
When you relax, is it a night out or a night in?
Night out.
Hey-oh. Okay. Working early in the morning or late at night?
Late at night.
Has that been throughout your entire career? Okay.
Yeah.
Working alone or working with a team?
Working with a team.
Why?
Brings out the best in me. It helps me to think outside the box. It brings different solutions and problem-solving methods. And I like feeling part of a community. I felt alone for most of my life and most of my career, so having a team makes you feel supported.
Do you think about business strategy or do you work one day at a time?
Business strategy.
Why?
I like to know what my goals are by the hour, by the day, by the week, by the month, by 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 5 year, 10 year plans, and have them all written down.
Would you rather fight internationally or fight for the rights of women?
Fight for the rights of women.
So, Megan, I remember growing up, probably around the same age as you, being bullied, being punched in the face quite a bit of times. My motivation was to prove that I'm something, but I didn't use martial arts. It was trying to push and become relevant in other areas, and I used more of my brain and my math and so forth to do that. What I don't think people talk about is what happens with bullying in the corporate world. So share with me some stories that maybe you've experienced when it comes to how you've been bullied as a business owner.
Oh, wow. Like just as business or within the martial arts?
Within the martial arts community, within a business owner to business owner. It's all within the same industry of martial arts, but there's a threat. You're a threat. You're a threat because you offer something different than everybody else does.
I'm taking that as a huge compliment.
It is a huge opportunity for you. And so when people are threatened, they want to fight in a different way, and usually bullying comes in the corporate world from my experience, from what I've seen. We get hit with a lot of bullying in our business because people think that we're a threat. So how does it work in your experience in the martial arts industry first, of you being bullied?
Well, let's do actually a very, very recent example. I just got my website redesigned. For the first time in 17 and a half years, my face is what you see first. Mm-hmm. For 17 and a half years, my face could not be the forefront of my studio.
Why?
On a typical day, this happens probably at least once a week when classes are resuming and my studio is quite busy. I would have people walk into my studio that wanted to take martial arts, that were interested, and I'd be like, hi, how can I help you? My name's Megan. Do you have any questions for me? And they'd be like, well, we'd love to talk to the owner. Well, I am the owner. No, the other owner. I am the owner. Well, how about the head instructor? Well, that's still me. Well, no, like the man. I'm like, oh. And so for a long time, I would have a lot of my male coaches that I would sort of prepare, but would be the visible face of my business and studio for a long time. Their choices didn't always align with mine, so it was very, very hard. I had to bite my tongue a lot. Mm-hmm. Being a female too, you get a lot of discrimination. For example, just within my small Muay Thai community, my studio's been doing very well and it's been growing for 17 years. And there's other studios that have been struggling. And I respect these studios tremendously, but they don't understand why I was busy. And they're like, why does a girl that looks like her have a busy studio? Like, she's not a real fighter, is she? Like, shouldn't really win gold medals. Like, those associations, like, they're not really legit, are they?
This is your competition saying this about you? Okay, You're in the self-defense, but you also have a bit more skill on how to be offensive as well.
My verbal judo sometimes comes in a little more handy.
Okay, so how do you handle a situation where another business is bullying you, downplaying you? How do you react? Do you play self-defense or do you actually get into that verbal judo and go at them?
So I found that staying out of the drama and staying quiet and just focusing on how you can elevate yourself, stay busier, stay more relevant, stay more educated. I wanted to win playing the long game, not the short game. So when I won my first world title, I was like, I don't think that anyone is going to ever take me seriously unless I win 10 world titles. So I won 11. And I broke my nose 9 times, and I've broken my jaw, my shin, my foot, my wrist, my fingers. I've cracked ribs. I've had instructors send me to the hospital. I've gone with no coaches all the way to world championships. And still, this happens constantly all over the world. Well, is she really good enough? Is she really a black belt? Does she really know what to do? And I'm like, I have more black belts than 95% of my competitors. With a 5th degree in one of them, I'm still training on a regular basis with coaches all over the world. And I've competed in 8 divisions in multiple organizations. And I don't remember how many world medals I have. I forgot. And I've competed in everything from full contact Muay Thai to full contact K1 to North American kickboxing to sport karate, traditional karate, forms, taekwondo, soft style kung fu, point fighting. I've done as many divisions as I possibly could and elevated myself to that level, and still I get questioned.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I did have one of my coaches about 5 years ago say to me, you know, Megan, you'd have an easier time if you look less like a girl. Stop having eyelashes, stop doing your hair, stop painting your nails. And you know what's hilarious? It's every one of my world titles that I won, I wore makeup while I fought. Every single time, every single one. And I remember being in London in 2014. I had won 8 medals at the World Championships that year. And I had a bunch of the political figureheads on the world stage. I was wearing like a tracksuit, like a Lululemon tracksuit, and I was waiting to go on the podium for a lot of my medals. And I get a tap on my shoulder, and this gentleman from Germany said to me, "Do you have a dress here?" And I went, "What?" And my hair was like in a bun because it was sweaty and disgusting. And I had like a tracksuit jacket covering all the bruises that were all over my body. And then I had a black eye and a broken nose at the time. So I had concealer everywhere and like a little lip stuff because I'm like, I'm going on the podium. Like, I need a picture of this, right? And he goes, "Do you have a dress here?" And I said, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Well, we need a pretty girl to hand out medals to the competitors." And I kind of dumbfounded looked at him and like put my coffee down and was like, "But I don't have time for that. I have to be on the podium 8 times. And he was like, "What?" And I was like, "I'm a competitor." And I took off my track jacket and I was covered in these huge bruises. And he was like, "Oh, I'm really sorry." And I said, "That's okay."
Does it seem like you have to continually try to prove yourself just to fit in the club?
Oh, I don't fit. I never have. And it's very frustrating. And now, I mean, now that I'm elderly in the martial arts community, because I've been doing martial arts now for, and I'm going to say my age, but 33 years. And I've just gotten to the point over the last little while where I'm like, I don't care anymore what other people think because it's taking too much energy away where I could be utilizing it to prevent discrimination in the martial arts community, to prevent sexual assault and abuse, to prevent the unsafe and unfair weight classes and divisions for women, which is an extremely important initiative. So I'm the global president of the Women's Initiative for 70 countries and 20,000 athletes for the World Karate and Kickboxing Union. And so because I'm responsible for all those female athletes of the world, I need to be using my voice to change policies and help women feel safe in the martial arts community and help bring more women into the martial arts community. Incredible. We have some really, really, really great men that are championing for us, but they're not creating the change that we need in order for me to not be so different anymore. I don't want this to be different anymore. I think it's okay to be feminine and be a like killer martial artist. I don't want to be the change maker so that other girls have to continuously be the change makers as well. So I've started caring less and transferring my anger and my frustration into trying to do more and better things for the global community in general. And that could be from anything from women business owners to any type of discrimination to female martial artists all over the world, and changing the male coach perspective.
Yeah. How does a business owner deal directly with another business owner who's trying to attack your business?
You just be better. Success is the best revenge. If someone really hurts your feelings, the best thing to do is just concentrate on what you can do better and what brings you more personal and business success. Like every time that I was super furious that, say, my students got discriminated against at a tournament or weren't invited to something, or I wasn't invited to something within my community, that's when I became the president of Team Canada. That's when I became the global president of the Women's Initiative. That's when I started to train my competitors in more disciplines and bring in guest coaches and have more support for them, because I'm like, if we're a force, then it's gonna take over anyway. And if we're a positive environment and we're an inclusive environment and we make people feel like they matter, they're gonna wanna come here, and they're not gonna wanna come here if I'm talking garbage about my community. So I'd rather just stay positive, talk about the things I can do, elevate my own business, elevate myself, and elevate my students.
Let's teach Faisal how to punch. So, southpaw, and you go jab, cross, okay, and then you can go hooks. So, hook, hook, body hook, uppercut. All right. Nice. Give me a hook. Yeah. Good, give me a body. Give me a body. Upper. Yeah, upper. Here we go, upper. Okay, jab, cross, hook, body, upper.
That's not gonna happen.
Jab, cross, hook, body, upper. You just did it. All right, let's freestyle.
All right.
Go.
I'm gonna break in a sweat going to the next interview. You've talked about how you didn't fit in, and being a minority, I can relate to that. But when you take this viewpoint of I never fit in, how does that play into your personal, your business life?
Feeling like I never fit in, I did both ends of the spectrum. So I did everything I could to fit in all the different ways. So it's like with the different disciplines that I took and the different ways I approached business and the different education that I got and the different business groups I went with. I mean, being a member of the Calgary Chamber of Commerce, like I don't know how many other martial arts schools did that. I mean, being part of Universal Women's Network, I don't know of any other martial artists that have done that.
Yeah.
I don't know of any other martial arts schools that won top 40 under 40 for Avenue Magazine. I mean, that was very unique and different. I don't know a lot of schools that specialize in diversity or inclusion and special needs. That's something I did. But also never fitting in, there was days where I really felt like I understood a lot of my students that were coming in the door. So I have a depth perception problem, as well as ADD/ADHD, which for me, I actually think that they're my superpowers, so I don't think that they're any type of challenge whatsoever. But I look at my kids with autism and they are so brave and so intelligent and so smart, but when you don't fit in, you learn differently, but you also have superpowers. So when I watch my students that some are audio learners, some are visual learners, some are tactical learners, some need to start at the end and work their way back, I'm like, I have all of these, like, basically I feel like I'm an M. Night Shyamalan movie, like participating in my dojo at all times. But I'm like, if I don't fit in and they feel like they don't fit in, maybe we all just fit in. Like maybe we're not outsiders at all. We just had to find our people. We had to find our community. We had to find each other. So I had different dojos up until I was 23, and then I opened this one up at 23. I remember the night before I opened it up for the very, very first day. And I was terrified, and I was like, am I doing the right thing? Is this gonna work? I'm 23, I'm putting, my business school on hold. And I thought, like, where will they go? Where will they go? Like, I get emotional talking about it. I'm like, where will they go? So if I didn't build this studio and this place where I felt comfortable, where will they feel comfortable? I can't learn a nutritional environment. How are they supposed to learn a nutritional environment? They need compassion and understanding and different ways of doing things and a different teaching and learning approach. So the next morning I was like, this is where they're gonna come. Like, my doors are open and you are welcome.
That takes passion and purpose. That's the big one. When you have that kind of a emotive response of a why, it's your purpose. And so I haven't been involved in your school, my kids haven't been involved in your school, but for everyone that you're making a difference to, that's awesome, and thank you for that. That's phenomenal.
Thanks.
That's great. So that brings me to the next question about how do you attract clients? Because going through and listening to all the challenges you've been through, there's a lot of reasons why someone would not want to come to this studio, to this dojo, and the amount of expansion and growth and the brand that you've created. How the heck did you get more clients, more people coming into your school with all those challenges?
I've always had a really good team, and I do have a lot of team members, both male and female, that were phenomenal, that helped to build this business to where it is right now. And so I have had a lot of positive support in other areas, but I've diversified.
Yeah.
I'm multidisciplined. I teach different things. So when you're a female martial artist that's been attacked in real life, who has broadened her education, for me, I love taking self-defense with other women a lot of the time too.
Fight, 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 fight.
I like learning from female coaches when I get a chance to. I mean, I love my male coaches too, but I think they saw that I was unassuming. I think they see that I don't trigger them in certain ways. So when it came to little kids or anyone with sensory issues, victims of trauma, victims of bullying, when a happy-go-lucky, like super energetic coach is like, we're gonna have the best day, and you're gonna be so strong, and you're gonna break boards, and you're gonna do all these things, people are like, maybe I can.
Arm, switch. Other arm.
And so it wasn't as intimidating, I think, for people to come into my facility and learn from the different coaches that we had here with this kind of mentality and this kind of culture. We didn't want to be a school that, you know, you had to be scared of your instructors or get hit with a shinai or, you know, do knuckle push-ups on concrete or have to do, you know, push-ups on a 2x4. Like, we're not Cobra Kai. And so I think because we were always a warm, inviting, inclusive environment with different types of coaches and different types of learning, like the classroom we're sitting in right now is actually a sensory classroom where a lot of my special needs, especially autism spectrum, get to feel like they're still in control of their environment. Nobody's staring at them. There isn't any extra sounds. All the mats are soft for them. They get to play music that soothes and relaxes them. And they get to feel like they're part of this awesome dojo, learning at the pace and achieving the goals that they want to achieve. A lot of dojos, you walk in and you have to achieve what your sensei or your instructor thinks you need to achieve. In here, if you just want to make a new friend and build your confidence, boom. If you want to go to the world championships or become a professional MMA fighter, those opportunities are also available here too.
This room that we're in is for a different type of client, a different type of customer. What I see behind me down there is for, I would say, everybody.
Yeah.
But you've built this room specifically for a different type of customer. What type of customer did you build this for and why?
I built this for a customer that can't train in a traditional martial arts environment. This classroom, I can control sound, my voice, all of the sensory inputs that they're getting. So my son's autistic.
Okay.
And I have ADD, ADHD. So it's so funny, we're on different ends of the spectrum, and so our sensory goes off in different ways. This environment was meant to feel warm, comforting, safe, inviting, but also we can control all of the sights, sounds, feels, even lighting. So when I have a particular client, let's say an at-risk youth, so I do work with the Police Foundation, yard and mask programs, things like that, individuals that have been either bullied or attacked or have gone through particular traumas. Sometimes we just need to put classical music on, turn the lights down, and we move. And we start to learn and move and communicate, and they feel like they're in the safest space. It's like a big martial arts classroom hug. And no one stares at them. They don't feel like they suck at stuff. Yeah. They don't feel like they're being judged. They don't feel like they're doing anything wrong, because I've always learned differently, and the clients that come up here learn differently as well. That doesn't mean they're not going to be world champions or black belts or amazing martial artists or smash boards or learn self-defense.
Taking on a business venture like that, where you've got a separate room for different type of clients, is a risk. And it's a risk that could fail and could impact you financially. It could shut down your business. It could give you a negative review from customers saying, I don't want to deal with someone who's also having a different type of client. I want to be with the mass population, not those types of issues. How did you decide to take that risk?
Well, I decided to be multidimensional. So because we have 3 classrooms, we cater to everyone. There is no feeling uncomfortable in one room or another. So for everyone that feels comfortable and wants that kind of big group environment, we have 2 classrooms downstairs. For everyone that wants the private environment, we have this. But what's really great about this room is, yes, it's a sensory classroom. Yes, I want to build it as a safe, proper space for all these athletes and students, but I can also personal train up here. I can also do all my corporate Zoom up here. I can also do all my international classes up here. So if you have something that you can also be a little bit more diverse in and utilize this space in a variety of different ways, you can build something for a client, but then also have a more usable space in general. All right. Boom. And it helps to breathe out sometimes too. And if you want to give a rad like ninja yell at the same time. Okay. There you go. So now I'm going to go a bit harder.
Okay.
So think about your hips forward, body forward, that you can just like,
Okay.
thanks. So, that was a snap. Yeah. There, that's a great snap. You try the board?
Try the board.
Nice. That was a clear through. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you. This is awesome.
There's your board.
Look at that.
Yeah.
So Megan, I walk into the studio. I see all these medals. Like, I think the wall's gonna fall down with all the stuff that you've won. You've accomplished so much. What else do you think you need to accomplish?
So it's funny, I keep thinking I have very little time left to do all the things I want to do.
Really?
Yeah, I'm like, oh my God, I might only be alive for 50 or 60 more years. That's not very much time. Like, how can I figure out all the rest of the things that I want to do in the rest of my life? So I want to do a lot more corporate health and wellness. I want to help the special needs community a lot more than what I'm currently doing. And I want to change, and I'm working on this currently, the International Code of Conduct for martial artists all over the world and hopefully within sport. I want my legacy to be, I'm not the different one. And I've been scared my whole life and my whole martial arts career, and I don't want that for anyone else. So I want to be able to make me the normal. I want to bring a lot more martial artists and a lot more female martial artists and a lot more self-defense and self-protection and self-awareness and self-confidence to as many people as I can in a very short period of time. So I would love to continue my coaching experience. I mean, I want my black belt in jiu-jitsu and I have a long way to go. I don't think my credentials are anywhere close to where I would like them to be. I think I would like to really teach and speak all over the world and just make people feel normal and comfortable and heard and seen, and that their journey matters and their goals matter, and that the way that they learn and the direction that they want to take is not wrong and it's all achievable.
When you look at everything you've gone through, what's the one most proudest accomplishment that you've had?
My son. He is autistic. I was a single mom for a long time, and he is completely thriving. He is loving and compassionate and kind and happy and healthy. He speaks articulately. He's made friends. He plays competitive hockey. He won our club champs last year for golf at 10 years old, one of the youngest. And, you know, like, he is proud of his mom. And I wanted to be proud of his mom because things are really hard for him. And a lot of things are scary and overwhelming, and like, they're very hard. Like, very, very hard for him. And I don't want him to quit when things get hard. I don't want him to not look for solutions. I don't want him to think that, you know, when things are hard for mom, she just quits or she gives up or she stops trying or she's never scared. So I want him to see me constantly pushing boundaries and taking risks and being afraid and trying my best and failing. Like, he's seen me lose. He's seen my business almost go bankrupt. He's seen his mom, you know, at 11 o'clock at night training for hours and hours straight, and he's a little kid sleeping on the mat on the floor, saying like, well, mommy's getting ready to go on the airplane and go fight. And he is my proudest accomplishment, and if I can be the best role model for him, then I win.
Maeghen, you've been in a fucking good business. Like, holy cow.
Thank you.
Now, a lot of business owners can learn from you. So I'd like you to look right there
Okay.
and give those business owners top 3 business advice tips that you have for them.
Number 1, it's going to suck. It's going to suck so hard into your bones, super suckage. It's just a day, tomorrow will be better. Just keep going. Keep believing you can keep going. It's like a marathon and you are almost at the end. The end of that marathon, the last couple of kilometers, you think you're gonna die, that's when you gotta push that little bit extra. Second piece of advice, and this took me a really long time to do, believe in yourself 100%. Bet all of it on yourself and what your gut says, what your intuition says, what your expertise and judgment is, especially if it's bat crazy and completely opposite of what everyone is telling you. That's most likely the right answer. And it's the different answer, and that's what's going to set you apart. Number 3, you are gonna have to take some time to recover and breathe, because I would like to work 12 to 16 hours a day all the time, but I can't be creative, I can't process, and I can't problem solve when I'm like living on fumes and I'm super exhausted. Just, the world will not burn to the ground if you just take a day.
Maeghen, you've been a beast in this business. You have been motivating, you've been inclusive, and above all, you've been a kick-ass business owner that's helped so many. Thank you so much for what you do, and thank you for being part of The Exchange.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for watching The Exchange. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a comment to join the conversation. See you next time. Thank you for watching. Hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on any new video on this channel. Also, feel free to follow me on social media at Faisal Karmali.